mechanic work taken care of, most of the work myself. In fact, I did all of the work myself. Now it's time to start designing the back of the 2004 Pontiac Montana. Appreciate you coming to the channel. That's LAF Space Film Fest. That's capital LAF Space Film Fest. What I'm going to do is design the back of the 2004 Pontiac Montana to be a sleeping quarters, an office, so when I'm out on the road filming, I'll have a place to stay. I can pull over at a rest stop. I can pull over to the state park. I can pull over to a national park. I can pull over at a Walmart, stay for the night, get a good night's sleep, get up the next day and hit that road. And make sure that I continue to bring some top quality videos for you to enjoy. Okay, here's what I got going today. I decided I'm going to go ahead and leave this captain chair behind the driver's seat. And that'll be like my office chair. Pull up and I have time in the evening and I want to get my laptop out. I want to do a little editing on my films. I can sit back here in my office chair. I'm going to build a little desk right next to it. And that way I'll be nice and comfortable, but not necessarily sitting up in the front seat. I'm going to build a bench right here. The bench is going to come out 2 feet. It's going to be where I can take this container. I can put this container underneath the bench I'm going to build. And what I'll do is I'll design it so I can at least have 2 containers here. And then I can always have a container up front if I need it to be. And that'll work out pretty good. I think I'm actually going to try to design it so actually a container will fit in this way too. Slide in and out. And that'll be good. I also do some painting. So a lot of my painting supplies will fit in there. Whenever I decide to go from a painting project to a filming project, I just lift the containers out with the painting stuff, put the containers in with the filming stuff, bam, I'm on the road. I'm not going to make this bench all the way to the front seat. And there's several reasons for that. One is, I've been in construction my whole life, my whole adult life. One thing that I've learned is you gotta be careful how you load your vehicles. If I was gonna take the Montana, I would not want to have a bunch of shovels stuck straight in facing the back of my driver's seat. No good. You get hit in the back, bam, guess where those shovels are gonna go? So you always have to design everything to give yourself as much protection as you possibly can. Most of the time, when I go out and do these filming, I'll be by myself, so that's one reason why I'm building the bench on the passenger side. Now, with this bench, I'm going to build it 4 feet long. 4 feet long. From here, right there. So it's basically going to cut off right here. Now, one of the main reasons I could easily build it 8 feet long and have it go all the way to that seat right there. In case of a crash, I've just set myself up for that seat to be speared all the way through if I get hit from behind. Make sure that I've got a cushion here. If the van gets hit from behind, everything gets pushed forward. Hopefully, it's not a great big old semi doing 70 miles an hour and it doesn't smash everything all the way through that windshield. If it does, heck, there I go on the big road trip, right? But I'm going to give myself some cushion. I'm 6 foot tall. I can't sleep on a 4-foot bed, but I got a plan. Yeah, if you notice, I've always got a plan. I'm always thinking things through if I can. The bench is going to come to 4 feet. It's going to end about right here. 4 by 2, high enough for my container to fit underneath it. Everything's back here, and I've got this cushion right here in case of a rear end collision. Plan for the worst, be pleasantly surprised is what I always say. Safety first. Now some people might think that's a little bit odd. That I'm designing something, I'm always thinking about that worst case scenario, that crash. There's an old saying, if you're gonna do a crime, the 1,000 things you think about, that you thought it through, there's 1,000 things more that are gonna get you. Moral of that story is, don't do the crime, don't be a criminal. The second moral of that story is, there's always going to be things that are going to go wrong. So if you prepare yourself, you'll be all set up. Just like right here. I got my ear protection in. Why? Because I'm going to use a miter saw. Got my eye protection, got my ear protection. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these 2x4s, and I'm going to go ahead and make a picture frame out of it. I went ahead and cut the 145. Hook my tape on the long point. Anytime you're working with wood, this would be considered the short point. This would be considered the long point. Short, long. So I'm going to hook on that long point. Swing my saw around to 45. Uh-oh. Look out. Hit the camera. Got kind of a limited space here to work. I got a lot of stuff in here for this winter. And I'll match that end up there. I like working with wood. A lot of guys are steel. A lot of guys are iron. I like working with wood. And I don't mean to be sexist when I say that. When I say guys, it just naturally comes out guys, but guys and gals both. I know I've met some excellent women carpenters out in the field. I've seen women carpenters, concrete people, roofers, plumbers, HV electricians. Yeah, women make good contractors. Pay attention to detail. A lot of women painters out there, painting contractors. What's nice is to have a flat concrete surface to work on. I like working with screws. That way if you make a mistake, just back it out and redo it. Build this nice and strong. Once again, it's going in a vehicle, and you got to think about what happens if there's a crash. Is it going to stay together? You don't want a bunch of boards flying around. When I get the frame built, I'm actually going to take some metal pieces that are in an angle, 90-degree angle, and I'll actually mount those on here just for even a little bit more support. That's why I decided to go ahead and cut them at a 45-degree angle. Picture framing. They call it picture framing. Secure them pretty good that way. This is a pretty strong system right here. This will be my bottom frame. It's gonna go about right there. I'm gonna make them, and that way there my containers will go in and out without a binder. And I like this little door, and I like this little container here. That's a nice little container to have. You can put a lot of things in there. Being that I'll be sleeping in here in the wilderness, I'll probably put things like flashlights, may put a stun gun in there, may put actually a firearm in there. You know, there's all kind of little things that you can put a knife in there. There's a lot of things you can get to. If you have to, you open it up, bam, it's right there, ready to go. I like that little container. And I like my little drink container right here for my green tea. I can drink some green tea or Gatorade. Try something, just to make sure. Oh yeah, so see I can load from the side too. From this end I can load something in there if I needed to. Hey, if you're enjoying what you're watching, if you see some good ideas, if you thought about maybe converting a van over to a sleeping quarters, something you can camp out of, and you like some of the ideas, hit that like button. Subscribe if you like. I've got a lot of interesting videos out there. Really enjoy what I'm doing. I hope it shows. Okay, so that turned out pretty good. I like it. My containers will go on the inside, or I can put a container through this way and through this way, or actually I can bring one in this way. I just got to figure out where my anchors are to the floor so I can anchor it to the ground. I want to be sure and anchor to the bottom of the van floor. That way I don't hit my brakes and it just comes flying forward. It's going to stay stationary. But here are the anchors right here that anchor the seats. If I wanted to put like the bench seat back in, cut this indoor-outdoor carpet out so I could have access to those, because those right there are going to anchor my new bench, and those are strong. You know, those are highway transportation safety strong in case there's a wreck and your seats don't come flying forward. So I'm going to expose at least probably both of these. There should be another one. Yeah, there should be some right here. So I'm going to expose those so I can actually anchor from there and anchor up into my bench. And that'll make it super strong going down the highway. Cut me another notch right here. So now I've got that little notch cut out. I can look down in there and I can see the steel stud. So I'm going to cut it just a little bit more on each side. Anchor the bench to the floor. I like going to the hardware store. Sometimes I'll spend an hour in a hardware store just standing there thinking about it, thinking about systems, thinking about, because there it is. You have all the inventory in the world sitting right in front of you, and you just got to come up with a plan on how it's going to work. These are adjustable. One of these is going to hook down in the floor in that steel bar that's meant to hold the seats. One side will hook on there. Then the other side will hook onto this one, and then the top one up here is going to hook onto the top of my bench. I've got this right here. It's going to hang like this. It's going to hook on, and then I can adjust it. When you rotate these, they'll become smaller or longer, either way. Once I get it adjusted, I'll rotate them so they're nice and tight. If I ever want to take it back out, all I've got to do is take a wrench, hit them a few times, they'll unhook, take the bench right out. So I think it's a pretty good system that I've come up with. And see, I can reach in with this right here. I can reach in there and I can hook on that. Perfect. That's a perfect anchor point right there. That's a pretty nice system, all in all. Whenever you do a project like this, because there's no blueprints, there's no design, you just come up with it in your mind, and you're hoping that the details you think about, time you spend in a hardware store, looking at all the different hardware to use, it's all going to come together. And in this case right here, it sure has. So here's the bench built earlier, and here's the fasteners that I came up with. They are anchored to the bolts down in the floor that hold the seats, and they come up and then are bolted to the top of the frame system. And they really worked out nice. What I will do is I'll just take these and I'll turn them a few times. And man, it's unbelievable how tight that is right there. That is a nice, secure post. I actually drilled this out here a little bit so I can still reach in there and get to my little secret compartment. All my security devices can be kept right there, close at hand. Hey puppy, come here. Come here. I'd like you to meet our new member of the family. Her name is Jazz. Hi Jazz. How you doing? 4 months old. We adopted her. Everybody, thanks for coming by the channel. There she goes. Yoop. She goes. So the piece that goes in front of the sliding door is going to be on a hinge. It's going to be able to lay back on the bench. I'm not using it. When I pull up, ready to crash out, I just grab it. It's going to hinge over, go over in front of the door, right behind the passenger seat, make a nice little sleeping quarters. In the morning, make my bed, done. Slip right in there like that. Or I can feed it from the side here. And then fit in from the side. Just like that right there. That's a pretty good system. Okay, because this vehicle is moving down the highway, I wanted to make sure my bench was as solid as could be. That's the old watchdog, Sammy. So, what I did was, I went to Home Depot and I picked up these brackets right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mount these right here in the corner. Just like that right there. And that way there, I'll have them all the way around on every corner, and it'll be that much stronger holding them together. Do you have to bark, buddy? What did Daddy tell you about filming? That's your job, a guard dog. Plywood cut because I wanted this door to be open, and then when I'm done in the morning I can just pull it back over. It's going to go right on top of this one, and then I've got access to this area right here. And I'm just going to make sure this all gets anchored good. I want to extend this bench out. What'll determine how far I go this way is how far I have straight up and down. So it looks like to me like 2 feet would work pretty good. If I cut a piece 2 feet, and when that folds over, it's going to come out. Even with this bench down, I'll still have room to walk in here. I'll have room to walk through here. That will give me, well, there's 48, so that will give me 6 feet and about 3 inches. So that should work out pretty good. I'm 6 foot, so that should work out real nice. You can't imagine how big of an advantage this is going to be, being able to pull over somewhere and sleep 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, get back up and keep going. Especially if you're on a long journey. So if you notice on that, whenever I put that up, I get that tip right in the center, and I give it just a little bit of a push, and it actually sets it in there. So now it's going to go straight on in. Okay, part of the design process. Got my hinges mounted, and I got my piece cut, my 2-foot piece. I went to put it up here. It's gonna mount like that right there. Then the hinges, it'll fold down this way, and then it'll fold all the way back. On with the project. 2004 Pontiac Montana. Ooh, yeah. Like a ghost going down the road. So I've got this piece is hinged, and so I bring it up. It comes over, and it lays out just like that. So now I have to build the legs for it. So the legs will come up and the legs will hang down, and that's what will support this. Roll the pad up, take this, fold this back up like that, and I've got all this room here still if I need to. I've got my captain chair sitting right here. I can take out if I want, or I can use it as an office chair. And I've got plenty of room back there for supplies. So far, so good. It's getting to be February 23rd. February is almost over, 2021. And it's time for me to get back on Project Machine 2004 Pontiac Montana. Okay, I'm already making some remodeling moves to the remodel project. That's what happens sometimes. As things go on, better plan comes into play, and you just shift, zag, do it, make it right. So I had my third seat, which is, I guess technically the back seat. I had it over behind the driver because this is going to be my office when I'm parked for the evening, doing my videos, working on some editing, and I kind of wanted to see out the front, and being behind the driver's side, it's just you have that headrest and it's just blocking you. So what I did was I went ahead and moved that seat to the middle. It works out better, gives me more leg room, and I can see out the front windshield, I can see out both sides, and it also gives me access to both doors, which is kind of nice. When the seat was was over here behind the driver's side, it kind of blocked this entrance right here. So now I've got access from both sides. But having done that, it did create a little bit of a problem. So what I've got here is the seat folds down and locks into place like that. Now that's pretty nice. That's a pretty nice system. Okay, so that middle seat there will fold up, and that works out pretty good. That is my office chair. Here is the problem I ran into. I have got to build this system so it goes over the top of that seat and then drops down and still creates a leg system. So not a big deal. I just have to remove this piece here, and actually this piece will now come right in here, and then I'll have to measure how much I need to add to the bottom of here. So what it's going to be when I get finished, it's going to be like an L shape right here. It's going to come off and then drop down and then come on over, and that way it'll actually sit on top of this seat. When this comes over, it'll rest on top of that seat, and it should work out really nice. Clear as mud, I know. Got my eye protection on, got my ear protection on. You always want those when you're running a saw. I had to recut it because this is supposed to sit like that right there. If this goes over the top of the seat, it's going to lay on top of it. This will scoot on in there. There we go. And that is how it is supposed to set up right there. I've kind of designed this and I've worked on it, and I haven't seen another one like it before. Pretty proud of the design, the way it's turned out. What I want to do is I always want to give credit where credit is due, for sure. So the other evening, me and Mrs. Melissa were sitting around talking, and we were talking about this design, and I said, yeah, I said, that's really working good with those hinges. She goes, yeah, I thought it would. That's why I suggested it. Bam! That was right, because I was going to build one that the actual extension was going to slide out and then slide back in. And we were talking about it one evening, and she said, well, can you use hinges? It's like, well, maybe I can. So this is her design. So I want to be sure and give her credit for that. Thank you, Mrs. Melissa. I really appreciate that idea. When it comes to building something like this, patience is everything. You'll find that out if you're a younger person. And a lot of times when you're younger, you know, you're always in a hurry. You want to get things done. Something doesn't go right. Sometimes you might just say, just leave it. Leave it the way it is, that's fine. But as you get older, you realize that there's no reason to race to anything. You know, what is the finish line? I'm not really interested in getting there myself. So, you know, it's just one of those things that you learn to slow down a little bit. You learn that if something doesn't go right, you take it back apart, you redo it, you put it together, and you'll always be proud of that. You know, as years go by, every time I fold this down and I see that everything works out just right on it, I'll be glad I just took my time to do it. There's a little life advice for all you youngins out there. And you older guys like me, and you older gals like me, you know what I'm talking about. When I fold this up, it's going to lay on there like that. Whereas the old timers used to say, let me get my measuring stick. Son, go get my measuring stick. I had this one old carpenter I used to work with. God, he was so good. Rafters, everything this guy could do. Mr. Paul. He was so funny because when he would work and I would be helping him, he would go like this. If he needed some nails, he'd go. You know, he never said, can you hand me a nail? He'd say, give me some nails. Come on, come on, come on, boy, hand me some nails. Yeah, I work with the best. The best carpenters in the whole world live here in Southern Indiana. So I went ahead, I've got my piano hinge put on. So the way it works is now this will pivot up or pivot down. Like I said, if I decide that I want to keep this up just to keep stuff from flying forward, I could always put in some kind of little brace here, or I could even put a pin in. I could drill a hole right here and just drop a pin in, put a little wing nut on the bottom right here and pin it so it'll stay that way and it'll keep stuff from flying forward. But the way it works is I can lift it up, pull the shelf up, comes up, and comes right down where I want it to be. Man, that's a smooth system. That worked out pretty daggone good right there. So this is the way it works. This comes up, pull it over, drops down, bam. Put my sleeping pad on here, get a good night's sleep. Bam. I'm going to drill a couple holes in this for sure, drop a bolt down in there, and put a little wing nut on it, and that'll keep this stationary, so if I hit the brakes, this all won't come flying forward. I can lift my seat back up when I need to. That's a pretty good system right there. Man. Montana, 2004 Pontiac Montana is coming together as the LAF Space Film Fest work vehicle. You know, when you do things like this, it makes you kind of proud when you can do something yourself. And a lot of times it just takes practice. Now, when you're messing with these saws and stuff, be careful. Dangerous. Besides that, if you know how to use a saw, try some of this stuff out. It's pretty cool. Comes up, comes down, right down into place, right past the seat. Solid. Solid as can be. Not sure what I'll work on next, but I really like the way that all came together. At this point right here, I know I'm going to get me a solar panel for the top. I got to figure out how to keep all my batteries and stuff up when I'm traveling around. If I end up in the desert, up in the mountains, I got to have power. And from there, I'll have all the power I need. I can be off the grid. Thank you for coming to the channel. That's LAF Space Film Fest, capital LAF Space Film Fest. The weather's getting warmer, the snow is melting. Dang, I think the Montana's about ready to go. I'm gonna try one of my first trips, a return trip to Wounded Knee. It's a sad place to go, but I just feel like I need to go back there. I need to show my respect. Mrs. Melissa's actually gonna make me something I can take there and leave. Some kind of little memorial. If you haven't seen the video, Wounded Knee, that I have right now, the Wounded Knee Massacre, check it out. It's sad, but it's a part of history that needs to be known. Thank you for dropping by the channel. I'm going to go ahead and put this video together now. How to build a bed / workbench / office. Have a good day.